So let's start off with an easy question. What about this story drew you back into the series? Why did you feel you wanted to reprise Norman Nordstrum?
I loved the character. I had playing him the first time was challenging and rewarding, and it was everything, pretty much an actor looks for in a role. It tested me, and it allowed me to go to places that I've never been to, in terms of the skill set involved in playing the role and also emotional.
I don't think he needs a movie to redeem himself, but I think what we knew is, on the first movie, this is a villain that gets away with it, that is allowed to get away with it. So we felt if we're going to tell another story and we're going to expand on this character, but in a character level, it's like, is this guy ever going to see who he truly is? Is he going to stop being like morally blind? So we thought, is he ever going to realize who he is and comes to terms? Does he know, but he's just not telling us? So we need to craft a story that will force him to do that, to put the character in a place where he cannot lie to himself and the world anymore, and he, by someone, in this case obviously his daughter, to be confronted with who he truly is. No one wants to know when just the villain of the story has some revelation. I think you want to follow the main characters that do that usually. So it was that's why he needed to be on the front seat.
What was your favorite sequence of this film? Like hindsight being 2020, like what was the thing, like you look back on this and like, wow, this turned out really, really great, and like what went into that whole process in order to get to that point?
I'm really proud of the scene that a part of is played in the trailer. We call it the water ripple, where the Norman is able to pinpoint where the guys are standing based on the ripples in the water that they create while walking closer to him. And because of the direction of the ripples, he's able to tell what these guys are, and then shoots. I think that was it was a cool idea, a very visual idea.
There's a beauty to that sequence that I like very much. It's almost like a water ballet to me.
What other films influenced you in like the writing and creation of this movie?
Commando.
Commando, yeah, for sure.
I remember when they asked us about the first movie, we said Home Alone. Which it did. One tends to think that, you made a movie like this and you influenced a bunch of other dark movies. But the reality is that it's fair to say that the first one was really influenced by Home Alone, because that whole idea of one house, robbers comes in, there's a guy running around with them, and they get big shit out of them, and there's a lot of violence ups and downs. Probably Home Alone was very similar for us. I mean, with Commando, we realized late in the process, like, oh, this is quite close to Commando in many levels. But probably the first movie as well is an influence for the second one. Like that's an organic thing to happen. But we always really try hard to make it as original as we can.
Last question. What do you two feel that you want the legacy of like the Don't Breathe films to be?
For us, really, I mean, we're from Uruguay, right? We're from South America. There's not a lot of South American directors making movies in Hollywood. And so I think that's with that feeling, we always try not to fit in. We really try hard not to fit in. A lot of the things that sometimes get us in trouble, this movie already, like people will complain about things in the movie, they don't see that sometimes it's just because it's diversity of point of view and diversity of storytelling. It's just diversity that should not just be on casting. It should be on casting, but also it should be on point of view, the kinds of tales that we tell. Like for us and for a friend in Uruguay, there's nothing shocking about this. So that's what we fight for, really trying to bring our own culture and our own ideas and our kind of storytelling to the table. So that's why sometimes it feels odd and strange. That's what the legacy of this movie would be, to look at all of them, and I'm sure there will be others, and you look at it and you go, wow, those are always like weird, strange films. But it's because we need to understand they were like tales from these guys from Uruguay that just tell stories in a different way.
How do you think Norman will be remembered in like the pantheon of horror thriller characters?
That Norman somehow was someone who, despite his history, was striving for some kind of redemption, and that he's always thought of not merely as sort of some despicable monster, but as an authentic kind of human being, albeit. And I hope that people remember the films that way, or always dig them. That's all.